Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And I had multiple people link me a video by Jeff Cavalier, aka Athlean-X. Like, Jason, sometimes you give Jeff a hard time on things, but I think you're going to really like this video. I watched it and I did. And that's why I'm a fair person, guys. When someone like Jeff makes a video in which I agree with all of the points and I think they're great points, I'm going to give credit. And if they say something stupid, way too stupid for their level of education and experience, I'm going to call them out on that. And I routinely do the latter with Jeff. That's not going to happen this time in this video. He teaches a bunch of things in the video the exact way I teach them and for the same reason. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And one of them that was, I know it was further into the video, one of the first things, and I want to bring it up because I had started doing lateral raises again recently, and I had to retouch up on this point, but I've said this many times over the last 4 or 5 years, that if you're going to do lateral raises, and one reason I don't usually program lateral raises, because the way bodybuilders do them is a dangerous exercise, and there's too much bad information out there, so I don't even bother to program them at all in anything ever, because I feel like me even encouraging the exercise will hurt people because they're not going to follow my instructions on how to do it. They're going to see it written in a program, and they're going to do it the bodybuilder way, and they're going to permanently injure their shoulders for the rest of their life. And Jeff points out that whole pouring the pitcher out, that's a bodybuilder thing. No coach, no physical therapist, no physiologist, no one who works with real athletes who's ever studied anatomy would ever tell you to do something that stupid. I mean, that is so stupid that when you see these bodybuilders doing it, you should know right there that guy is purely drugs with zero knowledge, right? That person has zero knowledge of anatomy. That is so stupid and causes so many injuries in the long term that it actually makes the lateral raise one of the most dangerous exercises out there. It's sheer stupidity. And it's because it crushes your glenoid. If your pinky comes up and you pour it out at the top, and that's why it burns. That's why it hurts. Man, I feel the burn. Yeah, you do, because you're crushing your glenoid inside your shoulder joint. And you're going to need surgery for that eventually. That's not muscle burn that you're feeling. You're supposed to turn your thumb up. Ideally, you want your thumb up. Again, external rotation versus internal rotation. Right? That's what we're trying to deal with here. We're trying to avoid certain types of rotation in the rotator cuff. And Jeff is right there, and I appreciate that he did throw that one in there because that's one of my big pet peeves. It's one that I point out all the time, anytime that exercise gets discussed. I've never, ever discussed that exercise without bringing that point up because it's been pushed so far the other direction by the gym bros over the decades, and I've been watching it my whole life. So I'm very glad that he pointed that one out. As a physical therapist, I almost feel like, yeah, he can't even get away with, in good conscience, mentioning that exercise without talking about that. But he addressed it. So I'm going to give props for that because it's something I have said at least 20 times over the years on YouTube, if not more, that exact point about the pinky up being bad, thumb up being good. That's what you want to do. All right, but he started with the squat. He actually made fun of what I always call like humping the bar at the top. You don't ever see me do that. You don't see me recommend that. And what he's talking about is when you get to the top of the squat and you roll your pelvis under because you're trying to like push forward and hump at the top. All right, that's not a correct squat. Number one, as he pointed out, it puts sheer stress on your lumbar with no training benefit. All right, if you think that you're training your glutes by doing that, gravity is pushing down. Your glutes are pushing forward. You're not training your glutes. You're not training your glutes at all. You're getting zero extra training effect from that. You're getting loose on your squat, so you're not even ready for your next rep. So you're having to do more resetting to get ready for the next rep, which you're going to usually do anyways, ideally. But what you are doing is, again, posterior pelvic tilt. There's no training benefit. All you're doing is getting loose on your squat and putting stress on your lower back with zero training effects. It's stupid. Don't do it. So again, that's where he started. He jumped into the deadlift next. What he talked about was people hitching at the top, right? And it's not that there's anything necessarily wrong with extending a little bit further back at the top. A lot of times we do that as powerlifters. Why? Because we're training to accelerate through the top to make sure that we don't slow down. And sometimes that will happen. But what he actually showed is what's called hitching. Hitching is, for example, in powerlifting will get you red lighted. If you hitch, which means, you get the bar not locked out and then you push it against your thighs and then lean back, which is what he demonstrated, that's called hitching. In other words, you couldn't deadlift it. You weren't strong enough at the top, so you had to hitch. That's not allowed in powerlifting, number one. And number two, again, you're not even able to lock the weight correctly. It's displaying an incorrect lockout, and again, just putting extra stress on your spine that may not have any training benefit. But again, there's a difference between even leaning back a little bit to finish the lockout versus what he showed, which is where you're getting close to the top and you're still have some thoracic rounding, and then you press it against your thighs, and you use your thighs by pressing it against the bar to try to lean backwards at that point. Again, you're hitching the weight up, right? Or you're trying to use your thighs to lock it by pressing them against the bar. And again, like rolling it up the leg, kind of. That's what you're doing at that point. And so what he demonstrated there is called hitching. It's bad form, and it's not even allowed in any strength sport. Maybe, I think strongman might. I don't keep up with their rules. They allow straps and all sorts of silly shit. But they're mostly about GBP and stuff anyways. So you go to any other strength sport, though, and you're not allowed to do that. I don't care if it's powerlifting, strength lifting, that's automatic red light. And you may not even be technically locking it, right? You might not even be able to, you're not locking it because you have that soft lock at the knees happening. What else did he cover? The press, one of my favorite exercises. Now, he talked about both shoulder health and strength and the ability to get other muscles involved. Notice he demonstrated the same grip you guys see me using. Thumbs on the smooths, right? Thumbs on the smooths, just like a closed grip bench press. And he pointed out you get more tricep involvement. Some of you may even be stronger. It's easier on the shoulder joint. And it allows you to get tighter, use more core, use more tricep. Right? That's not a bad thing. Now, you'll get people out there who will say silly stuff like, well, I'm not doing an overhead press to get more tricep and core. It's like, well, you should be. I mean, are you guys telling me that your triceps are too big and you want to remove them? Like, man, my triceps are just too big. They're too big and too strong. I need to scale them back a bit. So I'm going to grip wider on my overhead press. Like, again, silly bodybuilder mindset. I want to remove muscles so that I can work it. You don't work it more. If you can do more weight because you're using more tricep, you're not getting less delt recruitment. You're not getting any less delt development. What you're doing is getting extra tricep development. And yeah, that narrow grip standing press is the best tricep builder and the best rear delt builder out of any overhead press ever found. You should be doing it that way. That's the way I do it. That's what I recommend. You get more tricep involvement. You get more core involvement. You get less external rotation of the shoulders. Right? We're dealing with good stuff here. You're going to reduce your injury risk. Pull it in narrow. Get those elbows forward a hair. Correct way to do it. Another one that he hit that's a big deal to me, the rows. Again, how do you guys see me do pin lay rows? Thumbs on the smooths. Same grip you do on a deadlift. Carries over better to the deadlift. Again, dealing with internal versus external rotation of the shoulders by the wider you grip versus narrower. We're dealing with a longer range of motion. So again, longer ranges of motion are generally superior for hypertrophy purposes. Why are we doing rows? Are we doing rows to set a 1 rep max? Are we doing rows to build our back, our biceps, our rear delts, our traps? Right? We're usually doing them for that and to get stronger at other exercises. We're looking for carryover. They carry better to deadlifts with the same grip you use on a deadlift, which is going to be 90 degrees, straight up and down, right? That's usually your ideal leverages on grip width for a deadlift. I don't care whether it's conventional or sumo. Your rows carry over better in addition to giving you a better range of motion. They're safer on the shoulder joints. Again, that longer range of motion allows for a different bar path as far as the way your elbows go. They travel differently, allows for more latissimus dorsi recruitment. So again, better overall muscular development, safer on the shoulders, better carryover to the deadlift. Great. That's the way I do those exercises. That's what I recommend. That's what you guys see me demonstrate as far as the overhead press, the pin lay row, all of these things. Exactly what he described there is how you guys see me do them. It's how you see me recommend them. As far as some of the other exercises go, I've never done an ab rollout in my life. I believe in standing ab work if I want to carry over to my other lifts, so that's what I do. So I don't do that personally. So I don't have an opinion on it. I kind of skip through that part. The tricep extensions, mostly what he was talking about there is just, again, it's going to make you work the long head more, most of what he's talking about, because that's generally what we want. If you're doing a tricep extension, you're probably trying to work the long head a little bit more because, again, it tends to be neglected slightly, and on most of our presses, our bench press, our closed grip bench, our weighted dips, I don't know, decline, incline, whatever you're doing. For the most part, the long head does get a little bit neglected. And so if you're going to go ahead and add a smaller movement and getting, again, that little bit of shoulder extension in will help with the long head. So that's more or less what he's doing. He's keeping you in a little bit of shoulder extension so that it keeps stress on that long head a little bit better. But as far as some people say, well, he's talking about getting continual tension to continual tension is irrelevant, right? Continual tension is a bodybuilder thing. It's not science. It's not something that shows real world benefits in any sort of research or physiology. It's just a bodybuilder thing. So I think it had to do more with him just keeping you into good shoulder extension, which is a good thing if you're trying to develop a lagging tricep, which is why most people would be doing extensions. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.